So I obviously can't draw this in 3D, but I went and added these dotted lines, which sort of represent each quadrant of like, I don't know how to explain exactly, but when your gravity, if you're, say you're below this line, like this is the current best position, when you start to get pulled in by the gravity, you're going to get pulled towards center, which means that down is going to end up being this way and this way. But if you're above this line, down's going to end up being this way and this way, like some vector, whatever. It's going to be a line between those, whatever that word is. um, so to get to this piece, we almost certainly have to be below this line. I don't have like empirical evidence to prove that, but it just makes sense in my head. Um, we might also have to be far enough back that we don't cross this line before we capture gravity, which is something that I have to look into because I imagine that if you fall past this, then you're going to start getting pulled in this direction. And it's not like a gradual change. When you change across this equator or whatever you want to call it, um, it's like a complete flip. So instead of pulling you this way, it's literally changing the other way. So you'll start flipping the other direction if you pass this, depending on how close you are to it, I guess. If you've already flipped like more than 180 degrees, then you'll continue going that way. But if you haven't flipped that much yet, then you'll start to reverse the way that your gravity angle is changing, which is almost certainly bad. I can't imagine how that could be good. Um, yeah, so I'm guessing that it's going to be somewhere along this line is where we want to end up. And the further we are outside, the later we interact with the gravity. So if we screw kick in here, we're going to change to action 10 and leave the screw kick way sooner, but we have way more distance to get to orbit the planet. So that's probably bad, but maybe if we drill one frame sooner at 26,000 instead of 28,000 Z rotation, then maybe we could still make that work, and maybe it's way better. That's probably the first thing that I want to test. Um, but yeah, the further out we are, it's not going to change too much about the gravity angle that we'll capture. So if we're like out here, this blue line, the inner blue line is about the limit of where the screw kick reaches gravity. This outer blue line was a test I did where it doesn't reach. So if we're in this range somewhere, we might be able to orbit longer because I think the gravity route will end up being almost the exact same. The rotation across each frame will be similar, but will just be offset over here. Um, so yeah, there's probably a range in here where a different gravity angle on the drill that captures gravity will let us orbit, and that has a chance of being good. And if it's not good, then we're going to be somewhere around here where we want to orbit as long as possible, but we have to factor in that the more away from the origin of the planet, the center of the planet, the more away we are, the longer the screw kick takes to get gravity. So I'm going to put my money on it's probably faster to be in here somewhere, but where in there I have no idea at all.